Hello YouTube friends, welcome back to The Last Homely House, or welcome to The Last Homely House if this is your first visit. I'm Kate and I live here in this little cottage in the north of England, and I like making videos for you all about crafts and all about quilting, a lot about quilting. Today I want to talk to you about this fat quarter bundle here. I haven't opened it yet, so we'll open it now. It's from a company called European Quilt Supplies, and it's Liberty quilting weight cotton. Beautiful designs. And this was sent to me out of the blue. I didn't order this, I was just sent it, which was really nice, wasn't it? And so let me show you the fabrics because I think they're very beautiful. Aren't they gorgeous? And it's quilting weight, which is really nice to work with. Now I've been ordering quite a few things from European Quilt Supplies, and so that's why they knew about me, and so maybe they thought I was a good customer and that I should they should send me this little sample to play with. I've been ordering things that are going to be appearing in your Christmas boxes, which are coming out in November. So this then arrived, as I say, out of the blue, and then in order to make it, I want to make it into another Project Linus quilt. I've been enjoying making Project Linus quilts. Let's see, so far we've made the Irish chain, the St. Louis 16 patch, we've made well, one that's coming up soon, which is a wonky star. You haven't seen that one yet, and then this one. And in order to extend this fabric a bit, I've bought this. Now this is fabric that I bought from Cotton Patch here in the UK. That's the supplier I use here in the UK. And I bought these three. Now let's see if you can see how well these go together. I bought these three fabrics here. And then I bought this bigger bit, which I think will do for some features on the front, but also for the back of the quilt. So all the fabrics are here, and all I need to do now is to decide what quilt block I'm going to do. Now with these quilt blocks I've mostly done, in fact, yeah, I've done blocks that I've already done before. I had an idea that I would try some new quilt blocks that I hadn't made before, and I haven't. So this time I'm going to use this. So I made this half square triangle quilt a few years ago, and here in my quilt planning notebook is the half square triangle tutorial here on how to make different sizes of half square triangles 4 at a time. So I'm going to make 4 half square triangles at a time in this very simple way. And I'm looking at the chart here. I'm going to make them that finish at 3.5. I think that'll be a useful size. So what I have to do then is cut 5.5 inch squares from all the fabrics I'm going to use. So I'm going to iron these now. Aren't they lovely? They're not my usual colours, but I think they're beautiful. It's good sometimes, isn't it, to step outside of your comfort zone with fabrics, well, with anything. So I'm going to take the ironing board's just set up here, so I'm going to take these round to the ironing board and give these a really good press. So I'm going to cut some 5.5 inch squares then. This is my big long ruler. I better just check that I've got, so this one's got a 1/2 inch on the side there. I better have that on the right side. And then my 5 inches lined up there. And then off we go. And then 5.5 inches beautifully cut there. So a quarter of an inch all the way around the outside to enclose it like that, and then I'm going to cut it in half carefully along the diagonal, and then without moving it, and I've got one of those little twizzy mats there, do the next cut. You don't need a twizzy mat. If you've got a small mat, you can just move the whole mat. Now I'm going to press these open towards the plain side. So on your ruler there's a line here which I'm going to line up with the diagonal of my sew line there, and then I'm going to check that my 3.5 inches is beautifully lined up with the sides, and then even though these are tiny, these little scraps here, it makes all the difference in the world to the accuracy of piecing your triangle, your blocks together later, and that little dog ear can come off. So that's all the waste you get from one half square triangle, and it takes ages to do them all, but I am going to do them all because it really will be better when I'm putting the triangles together. So I've got quite a lot of these to make now, and I'm just going to carry on and work my way through all of these, making these line up beautifully, and my 1/4 inch. So there's the last one. I've got a big stack of these now, and so I'm going to cut these all into their triangle, finished triangles, and press them all open. This is one of those production lines that I really enjoy doing, cutting now, pressing, and then the trimming up so that they're beautifully 3.5 inch square. And then all the time I'm sewing these, I'm thinking about what design I might choose. Because there's so many great things you can do with half square triangles, so we'll have a look at those when I've finished doing this stage. So I know someone will ask in the comments, how are my pieces sticking to this board? This board is 2 sheets of polystyrene or styrofoam from the builders merchants, and I've got furry fabric covering it, and this happens to be the stuff you line curtains with that's called bump, and so when you pick up a small piece like this, it's got no weight to it, and pop it on, it just stays there. I mean, if I want to do a design and look at it for a long time, I sometimes do put a pin in so that I don't find them falling on the ground, but they tend not to fall down. So I've been playing with some layouts. There's so many layouts for half square triangles, and I put these ones up in their blocks of 4 going down like this. Don't hate that one, but I really probably like this one better, which is a traditional pinwheel, and I am quite liking how that one's looking. So I'll put a couple more of these up, and then we'll see where this takes us. Yes, that's the layout I like. So I played and played with the layout of the half square triangles, and in the end I sewed each of the colour families into their little pinwheel block because I thought that would be easier to design it. And then I put it on the board like this. Now there's lots and lots of different ways we can place these pinwheels, but I've started with the very pale ones at the top and gone all the way down, down, down until we get to the dark ones. And then I don't know if you could be able to see this, but I've then placed the patterned pieces in a diagonal. Now you can see it more clearly, I think, on the ones with the whiter background. So you can see that diagonal pattern there. Now this is just a little Project Linus quilt, and so I'm quite happy with the way that lays out. I did have a few of these left, and so I've put one run together over there, and that I'm going to piece that together and sew the backing fabric with that down the middle or down one side. I'm not sure. I think that might look quite nice. So I have a few of these left, maybe 4, so I could make a little cushion with some of these that are left over. But this isn't the only half square triangle block I've been making lately. On the 5th of November at 7 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time, the Christmas boxes go on sale, 2023, if you're watching this in 5 years' time. And in your Christmas boxes, spoiler alert, there's a fat quarter bundle. And with that fabric, I've been making some pinwheels, little ones. Let's see, there's another one here. There's all sorts of little blocks in here. A couple of pinwheels there. And there's another one. These, I think, will be little pot holders or little mats. There's a slightly bigger one here. Let's see if I can find it there. A wonky star, because I've been making some wonky stars with this fabric as well. And so I've made, some of these are finished. There's also a Christmas stocking that I'm in the middle of quilting and making as well. And when I've finished making these, I'm going to put one of these into some of the Christmas boxes. I think there's going to be maybe 15, maybe 20. It depends how hard I work at doing these. I've got a lot of finishing to do on these yet still. So if you buy a Christmas box on the 5th of November at 7 o'clock Greenwich Mean Time over at the Last Homely House shop, you might have one of these tucked inside your box. I'll make as many as I can before the boxes go live, but they're probably, in reality, there'll be about 20 of these. So look out, you might have one of those in your box. For now though, with these half square triangle pinwheels, I'm going to take them off the board like that, in their strips, and I'm going to sew those together in that webbing way. And I think that it's a small quilt, we might get a finish on this. I've been thinking about how to quilt it, because I like to hand quilt. And it's got an obvious diagonal, so it might be that I can actually, quilt this diagonally. So we'll get back with this 1 second for you, probably later this afternoon for me. So I'm just going to number each of these rows so they don't get into a muddle when I sew them. I'm simply going to take these off and stack them up like this. There's row one. Well, you know what I'm going to be doing for the rest of the day? Chain piecing, pressing, and hopefully finishing this quilt top. So I carried on and finished this quilt. I finished all the quilting. I put on a scrappy binding, and then I'll show you the back, because this is where I did the strip up the back of the quilt. And then the whole thing is finished now. And ready to go to Project Linus. Thanks so much for watching.